What's up guys, it's Manny from NXISEWOLF. In today's tutorial, we're going to be having a look at chord and scale relationship and why it's super important to learn if you're a music producer. Now, modern day technology has made this super simple for us. We have chord generators such as Cthulhu, Captain Chords, and it's also relatively easy as well to find the key of a track these days by using software such as Mixed in Key, for example. But in this video, we're going to learn this the old school way, by understanding a little bit of music theory. And if you don't understand any theory, don't worry, I'll explain the basics very briefly. I won't be going over the note names in this lesson, so if you are a complete beginner, I would highly suggest taking the free music theory producers course that I've made. I'll pop the link in the description below. All right, so the first thing we need to understand is that every song has some sort of key. And a lot of these tracks these days are produced in either a major or a minor scale. There are tracks and film scores that use different types of scales and modal movements, but we're not going to be talking about that today. We want to just keep it nice and simple and look at the major and minor scales. Now, when we talk about major and minor, we were taught in school to think of major as happy and minor as sad. Now, although this is sort of right, we don't want to actually look at them in that way. We want to refer to them as the major scale being brighter than the minor scale. And the reason for this is that the major scale, also known as the Ionian mode, and natural minor scale, also known as the Aeolian mode, are two modes of the 7 church modes. And it's really handy to know the order of the church modes from brightest to darkest. But as I mentioned before, we're only going to be having a look at the major and the natural minor scales today. Now for each, the major scale and the natural minor scale, there are formulas. But firstly, let's just have a look at the major scale and everything about the major scale. So there's a specific formula for the major scale, and it goes like this: TTS, TTTS. And that stands for tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So what does this actually mean? This is basically a distance indicator for us to use when we're building scales or chords. So if we go to our middle C, and we want to find out what note is a semitone away from a C, whether it's going to the right of the keyboard or to the left, it's going to be the next note up, which is the closest, or the next note down, which is the closest. So a semitone from a C is going to be a C sharp, and a semitone down, so going to the left, is going to be a B. So here's another example, right? If we go to a semitone up is going to be a B flat, because it's the closest note. A semitone down from A is going to be an A flat. Super simple, right? So what does a tone mean? A tone is just two semitones put together. So if I went to my C again, and I said, what's a tone away from a C going to the right, so going higher pitched? We know that this is the semitone, and this is the next semitone, so that equals a tone. So D is one tone away from our C. And we'll just have a look at one more example here as well. If I went to this F sharp, what is a tone away from an F sharp? Well, if we're going up in pitch, a tone away is going to be 1, 2. So it's going to be the A flat. Or a tone down is going to be 1, 2. So it's going to be the E. All right, so now that you guys have a basic understanding of what a semitone and a tone is, this is where we can apply our major scale formula. So what was our major scale formula again? It was tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So if I wanted to find any major scale, I would use that specific major formula. So let's apply that formula to the C major scale. So we locate our C, and we go tone, tone, semitone. That's the first half of it. So tone away from a C is a D. Tone away from a D is an E. A semitone away from an E is an F. And then our last half is tone, 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 semitone. So a tone away from our F is going to be a G. Tone away from that is going to be an A. Tone away from the A is going to be a B. And then lastly, our semitone away from the B is going to give us a C. Super simple. All right, so what happens if we change the key. So let's go to D major. And if you didn't know how to construct a D major, again, use tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Super simple. So we're going to start on D. And we break down our formula into half. So what's the first half? It's tone, tone, semitone. So thumbs on D, and I'm going to move up a tone to E. A tone away from an E is an F sharp, because the F is a semitone away from the E, isn't it? It's the closest note. So again, tone, tone, semitone to the G. That G to the A is going to be another tone, then another tone to the B, then another tone to the C sharp, and then lastly, our semitone back to the D. And then we have got our full D major scale in one octave. So going from this D to that D. All right, so I know that it might be a little bit confusing to begin with. I know it can take a little bit of time to practice and learn, because there are 12 major scales, and applying this formula to all 12 keys can be a little bit daunting, can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's all about time. It's all about practice. Just give it time. As long as you practice, you'll understand how to play a major scale in no time. Okay, so let's go back to our C major scale. And if we just quickly go through the note names of the C major scale. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, although we can refer to these as their note names, we can also refer to them as numbers as well. So what do I mean? The C will be our 1, because we're in a C major scale. So that's our 1, our root, our home, our tonic. D is 2, E is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. But we are back to the 1 as well, because that's also a C. And why do we give these note names numbers? Can't we just stick to the note names themselves? Of course we can. But the thing is, when we start looking at chord progressions, it's going to be much easier to refer to these notes as numbers. So for example, if I said to you play a chord progression of 1, 4, 5 in the key of C major, you know the 1 is a C, you know that the 4 is an F, and you know that the 5 is a G. Now, if you are a complete beginner to chords, you might not know how to make chords. So don't worry, I'm going to explain that as well. But it's just the importance of the number system to really navigate when making chords. All right, so let's go through the chords of C major, and then I'm going to discuss how I came up with these chords and why they are the set of chords that work within the scale. So our 1 chord is a C major. Our 2 chord is a D minor. Our 3 chord is an E minor. Our 4 chord is an F major. Our 5th chord is a G major. 6th chord is an A minor. And lastly, our 7th chord is a B diminished. And if we go up one more time, we are just back at our C major. So there's only 7 basic triads to each scale. Yes, when we look at more advanced stuff, we can add 7ths, we can add 9ths, we can start adding flat 5s and sharp 5s and stuff, flat 9s, but that's sort of reaching way past this tutorial. So I don't really want to get involved in that right now. We just want to concentrate on the 7 basic triad chords that belong to a major scale. And in this case, it is the C major scale. All right, so just a quick recap. We've got our major scale formula, which goes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And we also assign numbers to specific notes in our scale. Now let's have a look at actually creating a major chord, because a major scale consists of major chords and minor chords, and also 1 diminished chord, which I'll talk a little bit about later. So the major chord is constructed of a 1, 3, and a 5. What do I mean? So what is the first degree of a C major scale? It's obviously the C, because we've given them specific numbers going up 1 till 7 or 1 till 8, and the 8 is the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till the 1. So 1, 3, 5, what's that going to be? C is the 1, also known as the root. The E is the 3. And the G is the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the most easiest way of actually making a basic, simple major chord. So 1, 3, and a 5 will make a major chord, a major triad. The other way to make any major chord is to use the 4-3 formula. What's the 4-3 formula? So when we're talking about 4 and the 3, we're talking about semitones, counting up in semitones. So for example, if I want to make a C major chord, what is 4 semitones away from this C? 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 semitones away from this E. 1, 2, 3. That gives us a C major chord. Hence the name 4-3. So you can take this 4-3 anywhere on the keyboard and apply it. And yes, it will give you a major chord. Just like if you took the major scale formula, the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and placed it anywhere on the keyboard, it's going to give you a major scale. So if I took this 4-3 formula and applied it to, I don't know, let's go to an A, for example. And I want to make an A major chord. We take our formula, 4-3. We count up 4 semitones away from the A, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we count up 3 semitones away from our C sharp, 1, 2, 3. Gives us the A major chord. Now let's have a look at how to make minor chords, because like I said previously, major scales have a mixture of major chords and minor chords plus a diminished chord. Minor scales also have a mixture between minor chords, major chords, and a diminished chord as well. But let's just focus on the major just for now. All right, minor chord. How do we make a minor chord? Minor chord also has a formula. That formula is 3-4. And the way to remember this is it's exactly the same as the major chord formula, just the other way around. So the major chord formula was a 4-3. Minor chord formula is going to be a 3-4. So if I want to make a C minor chord, I put my thumb on the C. What is 3 semitones away from this C? 1, 2, 3. What's 4 semitones away from this E flat? 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us our C minor chord. And again, if we had a look at a different key, let's try finding out how to play F sharp minor. Go to our F sharp. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, super simple. So all of these formulas, whether they're the major scale formula or the major chord formula or the minor chord formula, again, can be used anywhere on the keyboard. One more example. Let's play an A minor. 3-4 formula. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we just wanted to change that A minor into an A major, it's 4-3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. A major. So now that you know the basic building blocks of a major and a minor chord, let's move back onto our major scale. Our C major scale. And we know that the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We also know we can name them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or the 1. But there's also one more way to identify these note names or these note numbers. And that's by remembering the type of chord that belong to the specific note themselves. So in the major scale, this is how it goes. The 1 is a major, the 2 is a minor, the 3 is a minor, the 4 is a major, the 5 is a major, the 6 is a minor, the 7 is a diminished, and then we are back to our 8, 1, which is a major. So let's have a look at that. 1 chord is a major chord. Because we are in a major scale, our 1 chord is always going to be a major chord. And again, look at the 4-3 formula. You can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. What's our 2 chord of C major? It's going to be a D minor. And again, we can see that 3-4 formula. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and lastly a C major. So guys, just remember, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to its 1, major, is the same for any major scale. Okay, so if I took D major again, for example, and we took that major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and we translated it to the D major scale, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and back to our 1, which is a major chord. So again, guys, let's have a look at what we covered. We covered the major scale formula, which is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. We also briefly went over the note names, so in the key of C major, that is, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We can also refer to them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or the 1. Or we can actually refer to them as the chord type, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to the 1 major. And we've also had a look at the major chord formula, which is 4-3, and the minor chord formula, which is 3-4. Now there is one more chord formula, and that is the diminished, and that is 3-3. So 3 semitones, then 3 semitones. And the diminished is placed on what degree of the major scale? It's the 7th. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Now, although it's got the same shape, its sound is very distinct. It's what we call a high tension chord, or a really unstable chord, and it doesn't sound that nice when we play it. If we try to play it in our chord progression, it doesn't really sound the best. And even when we look at it as well, it consists, like I said, of 3-3 formula. So 3 semitones, 3 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gives us a diminished chord. Take that 3-3 anywhere and it will give you a diminished chord. Let's go and find our C diminished. Thumb on C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, very unstable, very high tension. So now if I said to you guys, play me a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression in the key of C major, you will know that the 1 is a C, the 5 is a G, the 6 is an A, the F is a 4. Now, because I've already told you the specific chord types that belong to the notes, you already know the 1 is a major, the 5 is a major, 6 is a minor, and the 4 is a major as well. So we've got a major going to another major chord, going to a minor chord, going to another major chord. So hopefully this is starting to make sense how chord progressions are made. So again, if I told you to play a 2-5-1 progression in the key of C major, you'd be like, okay, so my 2 is a D in the key of C. And we know that 2 is a minor chord. So we plug in the minor chord. The 5 of C major is a G. That's a major chord. And the 1 of the C major scale is obviously a C major. Now that that's out of the way, and hopefully you're still with me and I'm not boring you to death, I know that music theory can be a little bit slightly annoying to learn because there's just so much information. And believe me when I say again, it gets easier over time. All you guys need to do is literally practice. Practice 10 to maybe 15 minutes a day. There are 12 major scales, 12 minor scales. You need to practice them, learn them off by heart. All right, so let's have a look at the minor scale. Now, firstly, there are 3 different types of minor scales that you need to be aware of. There is the natural minor, the harmonic minor, and the melodic minor. But in today's tutorial, we're only going to be having a look at the natural minor. We don't want to get involved with the harmonic minor and the melodic minor just yet. So what is the formula for the natural minor scale? This formula goes like this: tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Again, if we break that in half, our first half is going to be tone, semitone, tone. Our second half is going to be tone, semitone, tone, tone. So let's apply this specific formula to create an A minor scale. So the A minor scale sounds like this. So all white keys, no black keys, nothing difficult. And all the notes that I played there followed that natural minor formula. Tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. So let's break that down. Thumb on our 1, on the A. Tone away from an A is a B. Semitone away from a B is a C. A tone away from a C is a D. Tone away from the D is an E. Semitone away from the E is an F. And a tone away from an F is a G. And lastly, a tone away from the G is an A. And again, like I said, get this formula, this natural minor formula, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Apply it anywhere on the keyboard and that will give you any natural minor scale. So if I wanted to find the C minor scale, for example, C minor scale sounds like this. And again, let's break that down slowly. Thumb on C, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. And again, let's have a look at a different example. Let's go to B minor. Tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. And that there is our B minor scale. All right, so let's go back to our A minor scale. And just like the major scales, the natural minor scales have a set of chords that work along with it. However, the pattern for the major scales was major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, then back to a major. The minor is slightly different. The minor goes like this: minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major. Okay, so you need to remember these, because there are so many formulas and so many patterns, but once you understand them, they sort of become second nature and things become so much easier over time. So let's play the chords of A minor. Our 1 chord, like I said, was a minor. Our 2 chord is a diminished. Our 3 chord is a major. 4 chord is a minor. 5th chord is a minor. 6th chord is a major. And lastly, our 7 chord is a major before coming back to our 1 chord, which is a minor chord. All right, so if I said to you, can you play me a 1, 3, 4 progression in the key of A minor? We know that the 1 of A minor is obviously the A. The 3 of A minor is what? 1, 2, 3 is the C. And the 4 is a D. So we know our chord progression is going to go from A something to a C something to a D something. So we know our first chord is a minor. So we start on that A minor. 2 chord is a diminished, but the 3 chord is a major. So we know we're going to go from A minor to C major to our 4, hence the 1, 3, 4 chord progression. The 4 is a minor. So we know that our 1, 3, 4 chord progression in the key of A minor is A minor, C major, and D minor. So I've got this vocal sample that I found on Splice and I've dragged it into Ableton. Now, as you already know, most of these samples come with the BPM and the key attached in the audio file. So I changed my tempo to 154 and the vocal sample is in the key of A minor. So what do we have to do first? We first have to locate an A on our keyboard. And then we need to figure out what our A minor scale is using that minor scale formula. Tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. And then what do we need to do? We need to give these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or the 1, And then we need to remember the types of chords that belong to them. 1 is a minor, 2 is a diminished, 3 is a major, 4 is a minor, 5 is a minor, 6 is a major, 7 is a major, and then back to our 1 chord or our 1 note, which is going to be a minor. So like I said, the key of this sample is in A minor. So let's play some chords in the key of A minor to see if it fits.
I feel like I'm flying now. You touch my hair, you make it so delicate. You give me peace of mind. You take me high, and now we know all again. I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you make me wanna show my feelings. Yeah, I don't know how, but now I'm healing. And it feels like you made me wanna show my feelings. Yeah.
So what did I play in that chord progression? My first chord was an A. My second chord was a C. My third chord was an F. And my fifth chord was a G. So this chord progression can be called a 1, 3, 6, 7 chord progression. And that in return obviously gave me this sound. And then I also had a different chord progression when this sort of pre-chorus or chorus idea come in. And when that actually came in, I was playing a 6, 7, 1, 3 chord progression. And I know I added this weird chord in over here, and that's actually a A-flat diminished chord. And I know it doesn't belong in the scale of A minor, but when you start to learn how to use diminished chords, you can really add some color and some cool interest in your music. And like I actually mentioned in the beginning of this video, make sure you guys enroll on the free Music Theory for Producers course. The link is in the bio. 12 modules, over 40 videos, bunch of free content in there. And it will really help you excel on your musical journey. And that's going to be everything, guys. If you found this helpful, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Much love, guys. Manny from NXISEWOLF.